I thought that'd be appropriate for a fashion retail deal there. So, excuse me, but let's get in the mic on. How are you this morning? Thank you for having me. How's that look? All right? Okay. All right. Thank you. And my clicker is here, and here we go. So I thought that it's great to be back here for the second year. This is an amazing conference, and you like that? Okay. I thought we'd just start, and I don't know if this has happened already because I just came in last night. We thought we'd start appropriately with recognize what happened in the last month. I don't know how many of you know that Barron's Magazine, which is a respected business magazine. Where is Terry, by the way? There he is. Okay. Named Terry Lundgren one of the 8 best CEOs in the world. In the world. And and he is a retailer, which is on the front page of Barron's, and you all know his track record. You've seen the work of the company today, but just to prove to Terry that I actually bought the copy and just scammed the cover, that's what it actually said inside. And actually, you have a framed copy coming for your office because I thought it was a pretty remarkable achievement to be recognized within the world. Anyways, thank you again, Terry, for the invite. Yesterday, I had a chance to spend some time with some of the kids from the school. So this is a picture of us. We spent an hour just kind of visiting, and I wanted to do that. I didn't get a chance to do it last year, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to understand why they were choosing retail, why retail is a career. And I know Terry, Kip, some of the others of us that have been doing this for a while, we kind of bumbled and stumbled our way into this career, kind of looking for something to do and found our way to retail. Now we've got a little bit of a groove on, but at the time that wasn't really the case. But for these kids, why are they coming to retail at this time with the challenges of the marketplace and the opportunities? So I had some great conversations with them, and what I want to share just a few of the points that they made to me because I thought they were so good. So I'll start with Nick, who actually came to the University of Arizona as a theater major, is interested in sort of expression. And so obviously you can see he's going to go into the merchandising side of things. But this idea of he's really drawn to this idea of creating the experience of the store that the customers as a way of communicating with his customers, right? And that's what draws him to retail. He came as theater, now he's seeing retail as theater. We all know that's true. And think about that. If you think about creating the next generation of retail, how important that visual connection component is, right? And so that was his point. And Kiki, her point was that, hey, I meet these people that are working for these amazing companies, Macy's and Southwest and all these great companies. I'm thinking, yes, and Whole Foods, right? You want to say Whole Foods, right? And so these amazing companies. I want to do that. I want to work for these companies that are doing these terrific things, right? And she also said something else very interesting. She said that I'm drawn to retail because I see my peers in other industries that it's very dog-eat-dog. It's very competitive. What I see in retail is the opportunity to work as part of a team and be collaborative. And if you think about that, really is true in terms of serving our customer. It doesn't really matter. We're working together to serve our customers. Another brilliant sort of insight. And then Audrey talked about why do you like retail? I like retail because it's always changing. because people are always changing. So retail is always changing because retail is following serving people, which let me tell her my furniture story, which is people in my company won't let me tell this anymore because I've said it so many times. But I'm going to get to share it with you because you have no choice, which is that, look, retail comes from the French word retalier, and it means to cut the cloth in. And it means that the very essence of this thing that we're practicing is constant change. We're never finished. We're not building a piece of furniture that's done and complete and we step away. If you're interested in that, you're in the wrong room. This is a commitment to continual change and evolution. And she got that. She gets it. That's why she's doing it. She's drawn to that. She wants that in her life, right? I thought that was awesome. And then finally, Grace talked about the fact that, look, retailing touches everybody's life. Everything in life is retail, which is that's pretty big, but I think we'd all accept that. Retailing touches everything. Everything you do in your life touches retail. So for me, and everybody in the group had wonderful things to share, but for me, these kids, they get it. They get it. And my question is, do we get it? Are we open enough to listen and learn from them as we are continue to build our companies? They distilled in an hour's conversation some of the real principles of good retailing or great retailing for me. And I really enjoyed the experience, and I want to find a way for us to continue to try to help this center, help these kids. And I think the fact that they're coming to retail for all these great reasons is an inspiration to all of us. So Which leads me to what I want to start today with kind of a story. Take Grace's point that retailing touches everyone. This actually happened a couple of days ago in our main store in Austin, Texas. And I get this phone call from a woman I know in Austin, and she says, could you talk to my daughter, who's in the mid, or Ellie? And Ellie said, Walter, I've had the worst day of my life, and I've just had one of the best moments of my life. I said, Ellie, what happened? She's kind of crying. She says, well, I'm going to the store to get some things for my mother's birthday, and the phone rings, and it's my boyfriend, and he just tells me we're breaking up. And I'm completely destroyed. And so she's going down the aisle, and the way the story played out is she went down the aisle, and one of our team members saw her and walked by her, and then realized that this customer and came back and gave her a hug. Said, "Do you need a hug? Looks like are you having a bad day?" And she started crying into his shoulder, and he drew her closer and crying more. This is all. And this is really a true story. And cry more, and so they got talking, and she just kind of let go and cried. And then he said, is there something I can do for you? And she said, well, I'm here to get something for my mother's birthday. The team member, Peter, on the right, said, well, that's fine, but what do you need? And she said, well, I'd really like some ice cream. So she went over to the frozen aisle, and then he got another team member, Tommy, on the left, who's been with us for a long time. And by the way, Peter was off the clock. He had just clocked out like 15 minutes ago. And they went over to the thing, and they ate, and they got Rocky Road ice cream. And as she told me, I reenacted the moment here, but she ate half a gallon of Rocky Road ice cream to drown her sorrow. But my point was that the magic of retail is in these moments when people are touched by the experiences they have. And so my talk for you today is short today, just a little bit of time. I wanted to just say that that retail is art and science. We know that, we learn that, and it's both parts. But today my talk is really about art, and I'd say art and heart. Because I'm going to probably share something with you that you already know, but I hope what today does is maybe renew that in you as you leave here and go back and think about building your companies, which is this. In a time of greater push for productivity, which we all feel, and a push into greater technology, which we must do, there is also a need for greater humanity in our companies. And I would say that in sort of three simple ideas that I want to explore with you now. First is that I would argue that, look, we all know retailing is magic. I mean, I first got, there's nothing I'd rather do than having the apron on a Saturday of a holiday weekend. Some of you guys are in shopping for your holiday meal, and I'm out there, you're talking, the energy is palpable. You're connecting, you're giving recipe ideas, you're doing whatever you're doing, walking people to products, getting excited about stories that you're telling them. That is why we do retailing as opposed to doing some other line of work. At least that's why I do it. That's why I continue to do it, and why I continue to bag groceries from time to time, because it all comes together in those moments when you're sitting there putting the groceries in the bag. In any case, retail is magic, and I would argue to you that retail is magic. It's most magic in the moments of human connection, in the human moments that happen in our businesses, where people touch people. There is no replacement for that. There's no substitute for that, and human beings crave that. And so that is why, in my future, the future of retailing is an integrated future, because people are always going to come to stores. You know why? Because they want to gather. They want to come together. They want to be together. They want the connection, and they want the spontaneity that happens when they do come, like what happened here with Ellie, right? There's no way to script that, and people crave that. They want that, and they always will. And that's why I think the future of retailing is integrated, because it's going to be, yes, we have to serve our customers, as the logo of the event says, everywhere and anywhere. We have to do that. We have to build out and do it. We have to meet our customers where they are and meet them how they want to be met and serve them at all the times. But the core of that for us is still, the physical experience is still very powerful. So some of these photos, I guess, just capture that sort of idea. The second thought is really that people are the heart and soul of a company. And I'm going to show you a little something from Southwest Airlines a little later that kind of, they made that mantra part of their logo, go for a logo for the company this year. But it is really true, if you think about it, that the people are what bring the purpose, the values, the mission of a company alive. It is expressed through them. It is where a company lives. It's where the humanity of a company lives, is in its team and in its people, and the things that they can do and the potential that they have that's both realized and yet untapped. And how it gets untapped is part of what we're talking about here, the investment in your people, which of course you all know that, but I'm just sort of trying to say it again, perhaps in a fresh way. And the third idea is this, that technology, and we don't use the word IT anymore because it's not IT anymore, it's technology. It is a wonderful discipline that is fundamentally a capability for us to serve our customers and to serve our team members. It's a capability. But in its best days or in its best forms, what it really is it's a tool to empower and enable more human connection. In its best days, really, that's what it is. And so 3 ideas. 1, the magic of retail, or some of the best magic of retail, is the human moments. Number 2, people are heart and soul of a company and a company's purpose in the marketplace and need to be invested in as such. And third, this idea that technology is best seen as a tool, as a capability, but is that something that can enable and empower more human connection in the business. So in Whole Foods, and not that I'm holding us up as any sort of example, other just to sort of illustrate my point, we have taken this, as you know from my talk last year, our core value is team member happiness and excellence. That is one of our guiding core values, right? Because we believe it's leadership's job to make sure that the team members are in good shape, and if the customers are going to have a great experience. So team member happiness and excellence. We put it both in there. It's not just team member happiness because that's la land, right? Yes, you want them to be happy, but you also want to be striving for excellence. What's interesting, they both usually go together pretty well. You really can't have excellence without the happiness. You can't have happiness without the excellence. So they make sense that they go together. But at our company, we try to back that up with our core principles. 2 I want to call out to you. This is, any team member at Whole Foods will know these things. The principles are, 2 I want to call, in creating a more empowered culture, which we have. Some people would call it chaotic. I think Mitch would call it chaotic. But in any case, the 2 that I want to call out are shared fate and self-responsibility. Because if you're going to create an empowered culture that puts people at the center of the culture, people at the center of the experience, you've got to give them room to move and grow. And listening to these kids yesterday, again, it's very clear to me this is exactly the right path to take. These kids have it. They're smart. They're talented. They know. They have ideas. They want to contribute. Will we create the space for them to do that? In any case, shared fate simply means we win together, we challenge together, right? It's this idea of we're in this together. And so that when it comes time to make decisions about layoffs or no layoffs or this sort of things, you make those decisions differently based on the idea that you're running a company based on shared fate. And the second part of that is self-responsibility, which is this idea that, look, you got to take charge of creating your own future. You've got responsibility in how you act, the choices you make, the path you want to take, and how you're going to be with the customers. You have responsibility in that. You're not a robot here. What is it you want for yourself, and how do you want to participate? How do you want to create the value of the company going forward? Where's your responsibility? Those things taken together take that core value of happiness and excellence and start to ground it a bit in some principles. And then finally, I think we have everybody at Whole Foods belongs to a team. So we have cultural practices that I think make this core value, make these principles come real. And again, I'm offering these only as a point of illustration, not to say that we're the greatest thing since sliced bread, although we do sell sliced bread. But these principles are along these lines. They're egalitarian in the sense that everyone in the company has the same benefits. Again, I'm not suggesting these are what you need to do. That's just what we do. It works for our culture. But everybody has the same benefits. I have the same benefits as Peter that you saw in the photo there. Yes, if I have more time, I accrue that way, but I have the same basic suite of benefits. That creates a shared fate. That creates a connection people believe in. Inclusive. We let our team members vote on who they're going to hire onto the teams in the store. Every team member has to get voted on by the team itself. We include people in interviews. Sometimes our interview groups are 14 or 15 people to interview for a position because we want to include people in the decisions that affect them. We empower. We've talked about that some. Education. We've created, most recently, I'll show you a photo of this in a minute, we have tremendous learning opportunities up online for our team members, and we're in the process of re-envisioning our platform, using technology as the tool, by the way, to create a portal for our team members where they have access not only to the internal content, but to external content. Example, a certificate from Washington State University in organic agriculture. Not a 4-year degree, but a certificate in an area of interest that the team member is interested in that will then tie ultimately to their compensation, to their job position, and be recognized. So imagine a much more robust learning environment that lets them craft their path of learning in serving the customers and building the company as they want to, that sort of idea. And finally, opportunity. Every single one of our executives has come up from the ranks, has been promoted through the ranks. So when we create 9,000 jobs next year, yes, but we also have a clear message out there that it matters that you're with the company, you learn the culture, and we have been very successful in that. Again, just our example. So this week is actually Team Member Appreciation Week at Whole Foods again, where the whole week we spend time appreciating our team members' barbecues. It's a big deal. You can see that sort of thing. And there's just stories all over the company that are happening right now in terms of celebrating and appreciating. Last year we did a team member double discount day, and we planned for like $3 million in expense. Terry, you've had this experience before, but it ran up like around $9 million in expense. People were buying bags of meat and all sorts. So we didn't do that again this year. But we had to try something else. But we are doing something that's kind of fun this year too. So in any case, we kind of unique in that every 3 years we let our team members all vote on the benefits package. We put a ballot together. There's a primary, and then there's a final ballot. And folks, you know, we have about 90,000 team members now. 65 or 68,000 folks voted on the ballot. We also do this for our team members, which is a total health immersion program. So we offer them the opportunity with them, their spouse, to go for 7 days. We pay for everything. For them to get a reorientation to food and their attachment to their health. I can tell you there's been almost 1,500 team members that have gone through this, and the letters that John and I receive from the team members after going through this program is unbelievable about how their life has changed. They've lost 100 pounds, they're off their meds, but more importantly, that the company would care enough about them to invest in them and their health in that way. And so what happens is they become proud. They become proud. Their ownership level in the company grows up. And when their ownership level in the company goes up, their contribution, their imagination, their creativity is unleashed in very, very powerful ways. This we started because of the concern of making sure our next generation of leaders would lead from values. When the founding generation departs, the next generation of young people, the millennials are already very value-oriented. If you really listen and study, they're going to choose companies going forward that match up with their values. They're going to expect companies to have some sort of a value orientation. But we created this to be able to train young leaders to think about what it means to lead from values. And then finally, we do our first ever global marketing campaign, something that's old hat to many of you, but for us was a very big deal. We spent $20 million on it this past year, and we did the World Series and some other things that to kind of make the point of that values do matter. This is who we are. We want to make sure you know what's the difference at Whole Foods. I can tell you, the thing we did at the same time, though, was we did a robust internal dialogue with our team members about why we're doing this, what this is about, and we invited them to post up videos, short videos, on the website telling them their experience of what values mattered to them. And so by doing, within the first couple of days, we had thousands of submittals from our team members saying, why this mattered to them, why they worked here. And I think increasingly for team members to feel proud of where they work and proud of what you stand for is a very important thing with respect to this. So I do have a couple small clips.
We love to work for Whole Foods for one reason. Whole Foods is a company which really make the team member feel that you're working for a company where you will benefit your family, the way they treat the team member, especially the customer, the way we have to welcome the customer to our company with respect. The company really gives the team member the value which is we deserve. Respect, everything we need to make us feel good. The Whole Food provide that to
Okay,
us.
it's a little hard to hear him, so we'll just try this one and I'll just
My
play
name
you
is
a little bit.
Claudius, and I've been in Whole Foods for a little bit more than 2 years.
Yeah.
First time I applied for job in Whole Foods 8 years ago, and I sent 12 application forms to be part of Whole Foods. And 2 years ago, a bit more than 2 years ago, eventually I got the job as ATL, and I worked for every single health food retailer in London. Difference. It's all about Whole Foods culture, the way we are treated with all products, knowledge, customers. I think we top of the league, and we're the best. It's all about friendship. It's all about treating people with dignity. It's all about sort of seeing potentials in people and kind of getting that out of them. So basically, even if I've done something wrong and have a chat with my store team leader, I feel like I'm appreciated anyway, and I feel like I'm an important part of this place. It's very unique, I have to say. It's very unique.
So the point on technology, sorry those clips are maybe a little difficult to hear. The point I just make on technology is that we've made our move into technology a little bit late, but we've made some big moves this past year with updating our app and releasing the partnership with Instacart for home delivery of food, and also being the largest retailer on Apple Pay, by the way. So a large number of transactions that the customers really appreciate that technology. But we're kind of using the guiding rule of I don't use the term omnichannel. I do use the term extended experience, because in thinking about technology, I want to make sure that we think about it from the standpoint of the customer experience. So we extend the experience of the store, which is aligned with our core values. We extend it out only so far and only in such a way that we continue to be consistent and resonant with our core values. So the term extended experience, the technology becomes an enabler of that extension to get out there and serve your customers where they are, when they want to be served. And as we build that ecosystem out, that's the term that we're using to kind of describe what we're trying to accomplish. And I think I want to just play you a short clip. This is from my friend Jack Dorsey. We did a little partnership with Square. Obviously, Jack was the one that invented Twitter and also Square. But I want you to hear his perspective on technology, just to kind of land this point, and then we'll move to conclude the remarks. So here's Jack. We just have an audible because we had a little bit of ironically, technology. Go ahead, Chair, but here we go. So let me go back. Could you roll that clip of Jack? This is Jack Dorsey. Go ahead.
I think we overuse the word technology, and we have to redefine what technology is. When we talk only about this word technology, it becomes very scary and unapproachable, and something that people fear. But ultimately, technology is about building tools. That's all it is. And every technology that we've built from the dawn of civilization has really had two purposes. Number one, it allows people to do something faster. And number two, it allows more people to do that thing. That's really it. It increases the velocity and increases participation. That's all technology is. And when we're thinking about technologies and when we're building technologies, we want to build great tools that actually give time back. Give time back to people to focus on what really matters to them. And the best tools actually also give them a sense of joy when they're using it, right? So I think, as we talk about technology and its role in what we do on a daily basis, that is the framing that I think is empowering rather than something that we have to fear. So that's number one. Number two is that no matter how much of our life moves online or into technology, the perception of that, we need this, right? We need these face-to-face moments. This is what life is about. And I think in the best cases, and I know it's confusing and I know it's overwhelming, but in the best cases, technology always points back to real experiences like this. It always points back to the offline.
Okay. So an interesting point he's making there about the role of technology. That's one of the great technologists of our time. And you hear the humanity in his words. A couple more examples for you here. Southwest, obviously, point number two, people, the heart and soul of the company. You see they've adopted this now. Bob's going to share a few words with you about this.
Hi, I'm Bob Jordan, the Chief Commercial Officer here at Southwest Airlines. And Walter asked me to share a couple of minutes on the power of a positive culture. Culture is something that's central to our brand and our company. Herb Kelleher, our founder, always defined it pretty simply, which is if you treat your employees right, they will treat your customers right, and ultimately that will result in good things for your shareholders. At the end of the day, if you remember nothing else, we teach our employees to remember the golden rule, which is treat your customers, treat each other the way you would like to be treated. It's simply that easy. I'm convinced that we see benefits and payoffs all across the company for our investment in our culture. There's no one measure, but I'm convinced we see it in our employee satisfaction rankings. We see it in our very high NPS scores, which are typically close to 70. We see it in our high brand rankings. We see it in our extraordinary employee productivity, which is the best of any airline. And ultimately, we see it in fantastic shareholder returns. But a lot of times, though, the culture means making harder right choices than easy wrong choices. A couple of examples at 9/11, which was very hard, obviously, for our country and our industry. A lot of our competitors decided as one of the very first things to do to lay off their employees as a way to cut costs. We decided within hours that it would be one of the very last things that we would do because it was not consistent with our culture. Above all, though, I think your culture has to be real and not contrived. We use the word love a lot here when we talk to our employees, not a word that you hear a lot in the corporate environment. In fact, when we worked on a brand refresh this past fall, we put this symbol, the heart, at the center of that refresh. This heart is now on the belly of our aircraft, and it's on the boarding door where each customer can see it as they board. It's the symbol of the culture, and it's the symbol of the way we want to interact with our employees and with our customers. I'm convinced the vast majority of employees want to do the right thing. You simply need to create an environment that makes it easy for them to make that choice, and you won't regret it.
So other leaders have spoken along the same lines. Howard here recently at his shareholder meeting talking about realizing, and I did the math for Whole Foods too, we're a $15 billion company, but we do 8 million transactions a week, and our average basket is $34. So our business is built on one $34 basket at a time. And Howard's point is his business is built on a $5 or $4 latte, one latte at a time. Absolutely depends on the team members. The human behavior is what he says earlier. And another one of my friends, Danny Meyer, the restaurateur in New York City, who just successfully launched the Shake Shack, which, by the way, has a dynamic culture. Again, making the point that ultimately people's experience of a brand, of a company, is less about actually some of the mechanics and more about how it makes them feel. And so he's developed this sort of idea of enlightened hospitality, which he now is obviously teaching and talking about. But again, this idea of how important it is that people and the ability to make their customers feel good is what makes a brand really go. And even our friends at McDonald's, who I don't know, but I noticed they took out full-page ads in the papers in the last couple of weeks to kind of talk about their realization, perhaps with some help, but that again, they've got to take a fresh look at how they're thinking about the people in their business. And so today, taking that step to announce the increase in wages for the team members as well as some paid time off. A big deal for a company of this size and scope to make something like this. So I close now with this, my simple points of 3 points. One, that the idea that the retail magic, or some of the best retail magic, is really in those moments like Ellie experienced of human connection. Number 2, that remember that people are the heart and soul of a company. And number 3 is this idea of technology seen as an enabler of more human connection, right? And so for me, I take inspiration, as I did when I was a young man, from Albert Schweitzer, who won the Nobel Peace Prize, who said the future of humanity depends on each and every person striving in whatever situation they find themselves to manifest true humanity to men. And so I say, in more simpler terms, the Boise State football team, this is the going out to the field that says we do it with people, right? And I had a long talk with Coach Harsin the other day, and he says, we try to recruit the right sort of people. We'll teach them how to play football. But we have this culture of, you win with people, and we win with people. And so I guess in closing, I would just say, I think from my perspective, these are things you all know. Perhaps today has helped to renew those in you. I think our highest calling as an industry our greatest potential is to continue as we develop our productivity, continue to develop our technology, that we also remember to continue to develop our humanity. Thank you very much.